This part's a bow, and then the head was added on later. This whole robe is accented with gold paint, and here's a foot coming out the bottom. It's 1 foot. Around the back you can see his backbone coming down and the tail coming out from underneath his robe, curled around. This is the very first one that I did. Now, what is interesting about this whole set of series, most of them have the ability to smoke. Underneath is a hole. Underneath this is put a piece of incense, pretty much a piece of cone incense, or in this one a stick piece in a piece of clay could be used. The smoke will come out of the holes in his nose and out of the holes in his ears. You can see if that's hollow. That ear. This is the second in the series. This man's seated and he's a storyteller. What's unusual about him is a lot of the detail that I put in on him as a person. For instance, on his head he has very hairy eyebrows and hair. On his eyes are an upper and a lower lid, a nose with nostrils, and an open mouth. He also smokes. I gave him a shell for his neck. Down here he's got a cigar, and on each of his fingers are fingertips. On the front is the thumb and the lifeline that runs across his hand here. Maybe a fortune teller could tell his fortune. His design is also made with lace. Down here on his shoe are laces and the sole of the shoe. He's also very fancy too. And then he's got this very ornate robe with the shells. A bald head. And he's sitting here telling you the biggest stories that he can think of. There's some pretty good ones too. Maybe some New Year's resolutions thrown in too. Okay, we're ready for that. This little lovely lady sitting here is my bride. Her details are her hair with sausage curls. She has eyes, pencil thin eyebrows, all mouth, a ruffled collar, this big robe with puffy sleeves, with a sleeve coming down here with her fingers coming out, a ring. She has roses. These patterns in here are indented, and I put blue colorants down in here to bring out that color in the glaze. Here are her shoes. I'll turn around the back. You can see this very fancy robe that she has this blueprint throughout, the matching outfit. That's it for her. Now we come to the cultural section of this show. This one is named after Shakespeare's play, The Taming of the Shrew. This is a tamed shrew. Now with her, we'll start up here. She has a hat, eyebrows, nose, a mouth. She's also a smoker. This beautiful little white silk looking blouse. A pattern. This is from a wood block. She has her own purse, own shell purse, red fingernails, a robe with a rose print. Here's some of her hair sticking out the back, And she has a matching headband to match her lips and her nail polish. She also has rings on his hand. That's it for her too. This character, contrary to what most people believe, is a bear. This is a specific bear. This is the mama bear in the poem, in the story about Goldilocks. She has been out walking with her husband and her child. Now, they go out for very exclusive walks, and she's dressed very beautifully, with lots of detail on her clothes. She has mouth. She also smokes. She has a ruffled hat, her hair coming down here, a collar, necklace, detailed bodice, a skirt, a robe. Here she is in profile. You notice the position of her hands, right here. Now she has one hand over here and one over here, and she's talking. And she's saying as she comes home, "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" Everyone can recognize what this animal is, and it happens to be most people's favorite, the elephant. But this is a very classy elephant. He likes walking around in robes. He's also a smoker with his ears hollow, and smoke would come out of his trunk. This elephant believes in show. He's got a big cigar, rings on his fingers. He has to have very large ears, of course, big tusks, and he has a very decorative back. I'll show you him in profile so you can see his backbone. Here's the detail on his back. As you can see, he has a ring over here too. Where there are large animals collected together, a rhino would follow next. He's also a smoker, with smoke coming out of his nose and his mouth. He has a lot of ornate jewelry, a large stomach, and earrings, crown, a robe with its own design here. This is all clay. There's no glaze on this clay. Only his face and his hands are glazed. Now we go back to the human touch. This is my gospel singer. She's singing her heart out. She has her very expressive hands with a robe that is a triangle with triangular sleeves go up here. There's a ruffled collar and her hair she has different colored clays on her back. Here we have a blue kind, a white, and a brown. Down along the bottom, we have all kinds of dots put along here, designs. This is Mrs. Weller, the school principal. Mrs. Weller was my school principal when I was in elementary school. And to most children, this is pretty much what she looked like. She was a big woman. This right here is her hair, eyelashes, she has horns, earrings, nostrils, nose, mouth, eyes, a lace collar, a lace pattern on her stomach. She also is carrying a purse. And Mrs. Weller looks very nice right here, but we have a secret side of Mrs. Weller as she goes to the PTA meeting. And that is the side you seldom see of Mrs. Weller. She has her hair all pulled up very beautifully. And back here she has a little design in her low back dress here. Now her hands match her head. She doesn't have human hands, she has ram type hands. This is my weary traveler. I can see him walking along a hillside, maybe over in Switzerland or in Norway, and he's decided to take a rest. Here's a cane, his walking stick. Down here are his toes. Maybe he even yodels. There's a full beard and a rock, giving him support to sit down. We return from the mountains to come down to the nightclub scene. This is my nightclub singer. She's dressed very fancily with gold eyebrows matching her headpiece here, a necklace, a little panel of her dress is missing here to expose her stomach. All this pattern over here is highlighted with gold. And she has matching arm pieces. I gave her lipstick and rouge and colored in her eyes and gave her a little gold nose too. Now we travel over to England, and this is Queen Victoria, or as she's been nicknamed, Queen Vicky. Queen Vicky has a lace pattern dress as well. She has a crown, holes in there, hair, as a ring. Her robe has golden shells on it. She has a very fancy back hair piece back there. Porcelain with blue clay is the best color for this very fancy owl. She has a hat that has blue clay mixed in with the white porcelain. Here's her face. Now, what's unusual about her is that this whole section is hollow, and this is where a candle can be burned. This is clay mixed in with the porcelain, cut on an angle, and then roller pinned out to form one solid surface. This is one of my favorite ladies. I did several pregnant ladies, and she is my favorite of them. She's got a very expressive look on her face and in her hand movement. A little piece of something there to hold the back of her dress together. A ring. She is a rabbit of distinction here. She's porcelain, has a hollow chest to put a candle in, and all of these little holes shine through. They're holes that are filled with glaze, so that when the candle lights up through there, all the lights come out through these little tiny holes. Now we delve into the seamy side of the world, into the exciting part of the world with a lady bear wrestler. She has the distinction of having ancestral feelings towards slave girl Moolah, one of the wrestlers I've seen on television. She's a tough-looking woman. She could drive a truck or take on any man going here. She has on lipstick, rouge, black dyed hair, fingernail polish, toenail polish, and a belt wrapped around her waist. This version of Snow White isn't exactly what you had in mind when you hear the name Snow White, but this is mine. She has ears, hair, eyes. She's wearing a dress like Snow White, and she has a little foot that pops out. She's not exactly the ideal beauty, but she does have a certain frailty and femininity about her.